Welcome, fantabulous souls, to Psychically Speaking. I'm your host, Psychic Lisa Ann, and I'm thrilled to have you here. In this podcast, we'll delve into everything related to body, mind, and spirit. As a professional psychic medium and healer with over 28 years of experience, I'm excited to share my knowledge and my experiences with you. Together, we'll embark on a transformative journey of sharing, learning, and personal growth. Whether you're just starting on your spiritual path, consider yourself an old soul, an empath, or a seasoned professional, Psychically Speaking has something special just for you. So join me as we explore the wonders of life, heal ourselves, expand our knowledge, and grow together. Let's dive right in. Definitely going to be the next topic that we take on. So setting boundaries is actually really important, and I want to just give you 5 quick reasons why you really need to look at setting boundaries in your life. So 1, it's going to help you to preserve your well-being by protecting your mental, emotional, and physical health. 2, it's going to help you to communicate your self-worth and values to others. 3, it's going to help you to maintain those healthy, balanced relationships. 4, it's going to facilitate your own personal growth and self-awareness. And 5, it is going to help you to reduce stress and prevent burnout. Now, if you're an old soul, if you're someone who identifies yourself as an empath, this is even more important for you. Because a lot of times energetically, when you're not setting boundaries, you're just giving away so much of your energy, you always feel drained. So for you old souls, for you light workers, for you all of you who are empaths, it's even more important that you learn to set boundaries. Now let's look at some of the benefits of setting these boundaries. So 1, clear expectations. Establishing boundaries provides clarity, making it easier for others to understand your limits and expectations, reducing confusion and conflict. 2, healthy relationships. Boundaries promote balanced and respectful relationships, ensuring that both parties are comfortable, leading to stronger and more sustainable connections. 3, respect and empathy. By setting boundaries, you teach others to respect your needs and feelings, fostering empathy and understanding in your interactions. 4, encourages communication. Healthy boundaries encourage open and honest communication, allowing for more authentic and productive conversations. And 5, and I personally have always felt this is the most important one, role modeling. When you set boundaries, you set an example for others to do the same, promoting self-care and healthier interactions in your social circles. Now, I just want to add some notes to this. When you start practicing setting boundaries by saying no when you mean no, I think it's really important to say no without explanation. So I use this example all the time when I'm teaching people how to set boundaries. So if I was to say to you, hey, listen, could you do me a favor? Could you drop me off at the airport tomorrow at 10 a.m.? And you turn around and you say to me, I would love to do that, but I have a doctor's appointment at, 9:30. You have now given me too much information, right? So now I'm going to say to you, you know what? Don't worry about it. How about if you drop me off at 8:30, and that'll give you plenty of time to get to your doctor's appointment at 9:30. So if you're someone who has boundary issues, you tend to over explain why you can't do something, and then when the person comes back, you're not going to say no a second time, right? So this isn't about being mean. This is about setting a boundary. No, I'm so sorry, I'm not available tomorrow. Period. That's it. Stop explaining yourself. Okay? The other thing that I want to mention with this is when people start setting boundaries, I always joke around with them to be prepared for the storm, because I think a lot of people think, hey, I'm going to start setting these boundaries and my life is just going to be fabulous and everybody's just going to go, yay for you setting this boundary. But that is absolutely not what happens. When you start setting boundaries, the people that are used to you always saying yes are kind of a little taken aback by that, right? Now all of a sudden you're saying no. And the people who don't take no for an answer, they're not going to respect the boundary immediately when you first start setting them. They're going to kind of challenge you. So, very often when you start practicing setting boundaries, things get a little bit worse before they get better. And this is where I feel like people get stuck because they build themselves up to that first time that they're going to say no. And when the no is not respected, they totally forget about it and they'll never set a boundary again. So I always like to warn the people that I work with to expect the storm, right? The first time you say no, the second time you say no, it might not be respected. You might have to say no 2 and 3 and 4, 5 times. The other thing I want to say about this, it's very interesting. I was talking to a friend of mine about this the other day, and she was saying to me how, she has to set a boundary with something and how she felt really bad about it. And I was laughing because I said to her, what's so funny? I remember when I started getting into the concept of, or like understanding the concept of setting boundaries, right? It sounded so mean and so selfish. Like, what do you mean I could say no and put myself first? Or, especially the saying no without explaining myself. Like, that was way, way out of my comfort zone. So we were talking about this, and I said, what's funny? Looking back to that time when I started doing my boundary setting, it never occurred to me. Like, I would always go, oh my God, I don't want to say no because I don't want to hurt that person's feelings. Or, I don't want to set the boundary with that person because I don't want them to think I'm being mean. But the one thing I never thought of during those times, I was never upset that that person wasn't respecting my boundary, right? I never sat there and wondered, here I am, I'm feeling bad because I have to say no, or I'm worried about hurting that person's feelings. But that person that was like taking advantage, or that person that wasn't respecting my no, they weren't sitting there losing sleep over it, right? And I just thought it was funny when I looked back how I never looked at that part of it, right? I was always like taking the responsibility on myself. Like, they weren't feeling bad going, oh, I'm sorry I'm asking you to do this when I know you can't, right? And I know you're going to say yes because I'm going to make you feel really bad about it, right? They weren't worried about it. So just, the flip side of that, just keep things in balance, right? When you first start practicing saying no, yes, it is absolutely very uncomfortable. And, there's a lot of times, even to this day, when I say no and I still feel that little twinge of like, oh, I just said no. But, you have to remember, we're human beings. There's only so many hours in a day, and we can't be everywhere at the same time, right? So there's going to be times in your life, there's going to be things going on. There's going to be times where you do feel overwhelmed, where you do have a lot of burdens and responsibilities, and you really just might not be in that space to be able to say yes to everything. So I am going to wish you some happy boundary setting. I'm going to encourage you to listen to this 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 times. I'm going to encourage you to send it to everyone you know that needs to learn how to set boundaries. And maybe you can kind of work together and be each other's support person, because I do think that's another thing that's really important, is to, you know, kind of bounce the boundary setting off of someone who can be a good support person to you, right? Because especially those first few no's that we say, they can be really, really difficult. So I'm going to wish you some happy boundary setting. Remember to say no without explanation. Expect the storm, and know that if you stick with your boundary setting, you too will reap all of the benefits that setting boundaries can offer. Thank you once again for joining me on this incredible journey. If you found this podcast enjoyable, I kindly ask you to share it with a friend and make sure to hit that subscribe button. To discover more about joining my free weekly live happy hour, explore my work, or visit my Body, Mind, Spirit spa and gift shop in the enchanting historic downtown Southern Pines, North Carolina, simply head over to spiritquestnc.com. And always remember, life isn't always rainbows and butterflies, but every single day, you have the power to choose to be fantabulous. Embrace that power and let your inner light shine bright. Until we meet again, stay empowered and keep embracing the magic of life.